go. It is slowly starting, and hopefully I don't have to mute anything. Oh, is it doing it? There we go. Okay, cool. Welcome aboard, everyone. Thanks for coming to our meetup for April. This is the Seattle YouTube group meetup, and today we will talking about having viewers become subscribers. How about this? We got a small enough group. Let's just go around and say our name, so everyone knows who to call each other by, because I know it does have a name usually at the bottom right or left of the screen, but maybe you don't know. So I'll go and I'll say my name and I'll pick someone, and then that person will say the name of the next, we'll pick someone, and then we'll just go from there. And you can just maybe say real quick what your channel is about in a few words. So my name is Joel. I go by Joel the Geek online, and my content is mainly about comic books and cosplay. I'll pick Dan.
Hello all, Dan Fox. My channel is eponymously named as Dan Fox. And my channel is mostly about photography and videography and exploring the Pacific Northwest. I suppose I will go to John, with all the trees in the background there.
Yeah, so my forest in my computer. Name is John Dean. I own a safe and vault company in Los Angeles, California. It's deansafe.com, and I make videos on YouTube showing reviews on certain safes that we brought in that might be new or interesting, or not only to my associates in the field, but to customers. And I do a lot of how-to videos on maybe how to bolt safes down, how to install a vault, how to do this and that. And that's pretty much it. I'll pick Eugene.
Hey everybody, my name is Eugene. I'm a social media futurist, and my channel is about how I used to be famous at one point and now I'm not anymore. I will go ahead and pick Sunny.
Hi, my name is Sunny. Do you guys hear me okay? Oh, good. Okay, my channel is about hiking, camping, outdoor activities, and then something related with nature in this area. And then just became 1 year anniversary. I will pick Kara.
Hi everyone, I'm Kara. I'm the Octopus Lady on YouTube, and my channel is about, I used to be a marine biologist, so my channel is about all the really weird and alien things that live in the ocean. And then I guess I'll just, Tony's up next.
Tony?
That's you.
Sorry guys, I'm driving. Hi, it's Tony. I have two channels. There's Samurai Kibaji, which covers kind of upcoming new video games. And then there's another one, West Side Otaku, that is more about anime going on. So
Cool.
And I need to see who's is there.
That's it. You're there. You're the last one.
Okay, perfect. Yep.
If anyone else joins,
I'm on the go.
Yeah, that's okay. If you're on the go, don't feel like you have to just chime in if you're too busy driving. I don't want you to get distracted. So, okay, so let's just dive into the topic of viewers into subscribers. So let's talk about this. Oh, also, by the way, while if I'm talking or if I have someone else that's talking, please make sure you're muted, because we don't want any background noises or any kind of disturbance with audio from that. So if you aren't muted right now, please go ahead and mute yourself. And then if you are going to talk, please unmute yourself and then mute yourself when you're done. Okay. So the first thing is to think about, I just have questions. These are questions to help think and start conversations and talk about things that might help you create subscribers out of the viewers you have. And the first one is your content meant to be subscribed to? So think about the content you're creating, whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. Is this a content that you think would be something that someone would go, wow, I really enjoyed this. I can't wait to watch more of it. I will subscribe. So in your guys' thoughts on that, what do you think makes it to where your content is subscribable? Go ahead, Dan.
I don't know if we're using the hand raising function or not. So I think, and this is something I've actually been thinking a lot lately as my content starts to slowly drift. There's kind of the old balance between what inspires you to make a video and then what people want to watch, and there really is, I think, for longevity, you do have to think about yourself. But at the same time, in order to make your content subscribable and beneficial to other people, you need to meet them where they are too. So paying attention to your audience, the questions they ask. That I think the more the audience asks questions, the more clear it actually becomes on how you can serve them. And I think that's an important thing to pay attention to if you're kind of trying to lead with value, as opposed to lead with, hey, I have this cool channel you should totally check out because I'm cool. I think it naturally, I've actually stopped asking for subscribers, and it's happening naturally as I've kind of gained a little bit of perspective on this and realized that I'm trying to give people value that then they can use. And then, include little bits about me and my life as I go to hopefully help keep them interested in the long run. But especially if they're meeting me for the first time virtually on YouTube, I'm not faffing around with all the reasons I'm so great and why they should, care.
So then that begs the question, then what is the value that you're bringing or you think would be the thing to put forward first? Like you said, you don't say things like, comment, and subscribe, but you're
do ask them
talking
to
about
like.
yourself. Oh, sorry.
But not subscribe. Yep. So what I've been trying to focus more on is content that they will be able to use, either in their photography or videography, or breaking down complex topics that I see kind of argued a lot about in message boards and stuff that no one seems to really fully understand well, or if they do really understand it well, they can't articulate it for the layperson. Those in particular I've seen some growth. An example is like histograms for photography. How histograms actually work is a really nerdy thing, but more photographers could benefit from it if they weren't scared about it. So I try to kind of find a middle ground and figure out some way to articulate it in a non-nerdy way that still makes people be like, oh, I can see now why this is valuable. So things like that.
It sounds like your viewers, then the viewers you're trying to bring in aren't just other photographers and videographers. It's someone who maybe is trying to start that or doesn't know it. Like you said you find questions in other message boards or other forums and try to answer them. So I think that's a cool way of bringing in the viewers, and then hopefully they stay around. So what would, if you're not saying
to that point, the interesting thing is that in my brain, I'm targeting beginners. But what I'm actually finding is, sure, I'm getting beginners, but I'm also getting knowledgeable photographers who like never actually fully understood a concept before. They know how to get the result they want, but they can never figure out why. Or even better yet, they switch from one system to another and could never figure out why they couldn't replicate those results. So it's been interesting. I didn't expect. I expected a lot more beginners asking beginner questions, and instead I'm getting more complicated questions as I go.
And that's an interesting thing that happens. Even like with my channel, I had an idea of what kind of viewer or subscriber I was hoping to get when I started my channel. But then the nature of what I was doing and the way the algorithms helped people find my stuff, it changed who was seeing it, because I was thinking one group of people was going to be seeing it, but then the algorithm found that other people were watching it. And so those people started coming in more, which then changed who the viewers were and who became the subscribers. So that's something to keep in mind too. But I think it's interesting to bring up the idea of value, is what kind of value are you bringing? But you won't sometimes know, like you said, you won't sometimes know until you see who's actually viewing it as opposed to who you think's going to view it. Anyone else have any thoughts on that subject of what, what content you make could be what makes people subscribe?
Sure. Let me just, so I think episodic is really good, or being able to create something that the average person isn't able to replicate or duplicate. Maybe you're an animator and the average person can't animate a cartoon. Or maybe you go out and create the world's largest candy bar, and the sheer effort into videos like those are things that other people just won't do. And so therefore they find it intriguing and they want to see what your next project is.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. The idea of episodic, like I do have, like myself, I do have one episodic kind of video series I do monthly, where it's something, I'm going to be continuing to work on. Originally it was something I was trying to do weekly, but trying to make the footage, then edit the footage and get it out in a timely manner became too hard. So it became more of a monthly thing. But I think that is one specific thing that does help people come back, because if you are talking about a subject that is definitely something that people are going to continue to come see. It's like if I make the example of comic books come out monthly, but every comic book ends in some sort of cliffhanger, which makes you want to come back for the next issue. So it's the same idea. It's like, oh, I picked up this random comic book, but it ended in a cliffhanger, so I need to find the next episode, the next issue. So the same idea, I think, is a good way of playing out in when we do something like an episodic video series. That's great. I know the other form of doing it besides being episodic is the term evergreen content. Does everyone know what the word evergreen content means? See at least one shaking no. So evergreen content is almost like what Eugene was talking about being episodic. It's something that's you always do on your channel all the time. So like for me, I always have a video about cosplay and I always have a video about comic books. So whatever that thing is that you do on a normal basis all the time on your channel, where you're doing it, whether you're doing it daily or weekly or monthly, that's the thing people who subscribe to you know you're going to keep doing, and they can come back and see because they know, oh, the latest blank that Joel has made is up. I'm so excited to watch this. I'm so glad it's in my subscriber list. I don't have to go hunt it. So if you have people who are viewers and they're like, oh, he's always doing this, it keeps coming up on my recommendations, maybe I should subscribe to it to keep seeing it. Does that make sense, Carla?
I think evergreen content too. I think that's one type. But I think there's another type where, and this is where you hear a lot about people optimizing keywords and stuff like that. But it's meant to be a topic that's not bound by time. So it's as relevant 5 years from now as it was the day you made it.
Yeah. I think that's the one thing to keep in mind, is making that content relevant without time frames. So if you make a video that's just about, like, there are some people in my niche, in the comic book niche, who make a video about the latest comic book that came out that week. That's only going to be relevant to people that week. 10 years from now, they might not care what came out on April 13th, 2022. So that's a good point. Yeah, trying to make content where you find something that sticks. It's like a glue, like a fly getting stuck in glue or honey.
I think something else that Eugene mentioned is it's really important to tease out here too. So depending on the type of content you do, some things might work better than others. So he mentioned, for instance, doing things like putting forth the effort that no one else is willing to do. I mean, you have whole channels like Mr. Beast, where that is literally their shtick. And I think that works especially well for entertainment channels. People who do education might choose more of an episodic or evergreen style content, because they might not have, it's just a different kind of content that might not be as easily hyped.
Yeah. What is some content that you guys create that you think is that kind of content that's on your channel that you think can make someone become a subscriber?
One of my channels, I make 360 animated films, and those films can take up to 6 months to make per video. And I realize 99.9% of channels will not put in that much time to make a single 2-minute video.
I know of like, I can only think of like, as you were saying that, I was like, I only know of one other channel that does that, because there's an animation. They're making this animated thing about a subject that takes a while to animate and voice and edit. So yeah, that's a long-term commitment.
Oh yeah, but the return on those videos are like, I think one of them has like 10 million. Another one's about to hit 2. Usually they hit about 100,000 views. So I'm not complaining.
Yeah. And how many do you happen to know how many of those are your actual subscribers, and how many people after viewing it become a subscriber, or is it at really low?
It's a lot of people. Like I know a lot of people will go back and like rewatch it, or they'll pull it up for their friends and family, and they'll put the phone around like, oh, you got to check out this video, that sort of thing.
Cool. Does anyone else have a content they make that they think is like that? Tony, did you have your hand up?
Well, so yeah, I wanted to add to that. What was the first question you asked, Joel?
The original first question is, what content makes people want to subscribe to you?
Yeah, so I wanted to chime in on that and just kind of share. Something I noticed is, so there's a video, and I'm using an example to kind of have a good point of reference here. There's a video I did that got, say, I don't know, 6,000 views or whatever. Gave me a few subscribers, and it was like maybe 30 new subscribers or something. I did a different video that only got like 1,000 views, but it gave me like twice as many subs. Why did that happen? Apparently it's because it was just a lot more deep of a thing. And what I mean is that it could have been the same subject matter, but because I was kind of talking to the audience in a way that made them feel like this is somebody that genuinely cares about what he's talking about, instead of just doing something for the sake of doing it, kind of a thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's something I really wanted to say in terms of like what makes people subscribe is I think that they do have to genuinely feel that like, okay, this is somebody that is caring about the same thing I care about. And for some reason that makes them resonate with it more.
Yeah. Cool.
Quality, awesome. And that will bring them back for more value. But maybe their value is also just having something that makes something that they genuinely care about. So
yeah,
I think add that.
No, that's great, Tony. I think being genuine will bring people to stay, because you're being, like you said, the second video, even though the views were less, the amount of people that wanted to stay and come around more was because you were more genuine in the other video, and that genuine, like who you were and what you were trying to share with them, the information you were sharing with them, made them realize, wow, I want to hear more about what he's saying.
Yeah, it was also because I definitely put a lot more effort into it also. So maybe it was because it was better quality, but the subject matter, let me put it to perspective. There's basically a reaction video, right? Which that's become the new thing the past few years. Reaction videos, for whatever reason, do great. I hate it. but yeah, it was a reaction video, did great. People enjoyed it, whatever, a lot of likes, good deal, comments, views. But then I did this kind of video essay that was about a property that people haven't, it was about an old property that I know a lot of like cult following people want to come back. And it was like this video essay about the character from it, and really diving into that character and speaking kind of to emotional issues about that character. And so, one was like a fun reaction video. The other one was like a really heartfelt thing. So maybe that's another thing, is like tapping into like what gets people to feel more. Mm-hmm. So that was the comparison.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of push nowadays. Well, I think in general, there's this push of, wow, this one kind of thing really worked for this person. They got a lot of views. I'll do that too. But then the thing is, past the views, like how many of those people stayed to see something else you made. If your video isn't a reaction channel that is just doing reaction videos, where every video you post is some group of people or you reacting to something, yeah, that becomes like an outlier. Like, oh, he did this one reaction video, I really liked it. Anyway, I'm gonna go watch another reaction video on another channel, as opposed to you wrote and made this really cool video about this subject matter that made people be like, wow, I really like that subject matter. What else does he have to offer me on that same way? Dan, you said something in the chat. You want to share that?
Sure. Apologies. I forgot that we're recording this and not everyone can see
That's
that.
okay.
So
that's why I'm here.
Good eye. So the point I was making is I think what Tony's talking about also plays into this idea of like every video, the point of every video is either to attract new eyeballs or to speak directly to your audience. It can't be both at the same time. And so whichever your video is optimized to do, that's what the video should do. But it sounds like what Tony's articulating here is that one kind of video is kind of more generally like more random. People might be like, oh, I'm curious about this, but not want to stick around. But the second video, his core subscribers cared about how he presented that, cared about what he was talking about. So he was speaking more specifically to his already existing subscriber base.
Right, but it also brings in more people. Like he said, the second video he made, more people decided to subscribe than the first video because the content. And that's one of the things to keep in mind is we can just throw our content onto YouTube, not put any real effort into promoting it, and then let the algorithms promote it. But then there comes a point where what kind of content are we creating for viewers, whether they're subscribers or viewers, that will then make them become subscribers. And I think that's the important thing to think about is, sure, we can do thousands and thousands of viral videos that everyone else is doing, but is that the kind of one, like some of you guys already said, is that the kind of content I find fun that I want to do? And that my current viewers also find fun and they like watching.
Can I share something on that? So
go for it.
That's a perfect example, Joel, because I'm very happy about this. Like, don't get me wrong. I just had a video for like my second time. I think it's my second time actually. It passed 1 million freaking views, which is crazy. And I got a ton of subs from that video. Like the most I've ever gotten from a single video. It had 1 million people watching, so that makes sense. But the views slowed down, and then I noticed a lot of people were leaving because it was a viral video. It definitely was. It had to do with something going on in the gaming world, and I just thought it was like a fun meme of a thing. And in this world, just like reactions, memes travel fast too. And so I did like kind of a meme video. Over 1 million people watched it. Gave me over 3,000 subs. And think about that for a second. It gave me 3,000 subs out of like 1 million views. Versus the other thing that had like 2K views and it gave me like 30 or 40 whatever subs. So I don't know how that ratio breaks down. But after this viral video, a lot of people started leaving because that's not the kind of video I regularly produce. So like that is important to know. And as it was just said, like you can plan for a viral video and it will give you subs. But will they be long-term subs? Make a video for that. So I totally agree with that too. And that's just another example for it.
Yeah. One of the things I know that a lot of people have said in the past, a lot of the gurus or a lot of the other people that I've met in the YouTube community to talk about, well, what's your video that's doing the best? Well, keep making that kind of content. But if your best video is a viral video and you don't usually make that content, that's probably not the best thing to do. And that's hard to sometimes know is like, oh, was this a one-shot, one-hit wonder, like you're talking about, Tony? Or is it my regular content? You know, sure, that was a great one to do, but maybe it's harder to do that viral video. And then really all you're doing is chasing subscribers, and then you're losing track of your actual content. Like you said earlier, Tony, am I making content just for content's sake, or am I making something I'm really interested in? So that's the thing to keep in mind. Are you interested in making that content still? Do you want to keep going that route if it's not something you want to produce? And does anyone really want to view it?
Well, I think Joel, this segues in as the moderator of this call. If you don't want the conversation to go in this direction, I won't be offended at all. But something I've been personally interested in exploring and understanding more about lately is you kind of have two schools of YouTube gurus, right? You have the old heads. They're like, search, search, search. And then you have the new school, which I guess you could kind of consider Daryl Eves to be the father of this new school, which are like, don't do search, focus on suggested videos and stuff like that. And this new school of thought in particular is really kind of trying to articulate that subscribers don't matter anymore. What does matter is active viewers.
Interesting.
Which is kind of a mixture of subscribers and people that return to your channel that don't hit the subscribe button,
Right.
and that YouTube's able to identify who those people are and keep suggesting it. I.e., that subscribing doesn't work the way it used to.
Interesting.
So I don't know if you want to talk about that, but it felt relevant.
Yeah, that is actually a relevant thing we have on the list of things to talk about. So we can jump to that one. I have a list of things, but they're not in linear order we need to discuss. But it is important to talk about, how important is a subscriber? And is the algorithms no longer focusing on that? And that's one of those things that's a good question to ask, is what is the focus of what you're going to do? And it goes back to what I was saying is, do you want to be chasing the viewer? Do you want to be chasing the search? Like, where do you want your product you're creating to show up on YouTube? And is it going to just be on the subscriber page for your subscribers? Or is it going to be on that recommended page? And I feel, I'm just going to tell you my opinion, then you guys can share what you think. I think both. I want to make one thing. When I make one content or produce one thing, I want that to be able to hit in a good balance, both. So that both my subscribers are seeing it, but new viewers are seeing it, and those viewers might want to become subscribers. So even though, like you said, you no longer really say, hey, don't forget to subscribe, I still say it, but I wait till the very end, because I have some people that I follow who they beg you to follow them. And it's just like, ooh, that's a little awkward. Like, you don't have to do that. The algorithm's going to help get that video where it needs to go, but you don't need to beg to get them to stay. But what do you guys think about that? What do you think is a good balance? Do you think that having more subscribers is more helpful, or getting people just to view?
So
I think. Go ahead.
All right, I'll pick Eugene.
I was going to say, what's important to me is building a community that wants to come back over everything. I mean, having getting introduced to new people where they may or may not like your content is great, but I would much rather have the returning audience of a community that genuinely likes my content, my messaging, and my brand.
I think it's great looking at it that way, as a community, not just viewers versus subscribers, but who's the people that are coming to be engaged in talking with you, either in the comments or in other social media or something, not just giving it a random anonymous like and hitting subscribe, and you never know who they are.
Well, that's the one thing that sets YouTube apart truly from every other platform, is the community building. And I do think, to Eugene's point,
yeah.
No, I think that, just because of the way it works and the fact that people, I guess maybe once you get to a certain size and you can interact more directly with people, that might be a good caveat. But
yeah,
I've been doing Twitter Spaces a lot lately, and I can tell you the community building aspect through that platform, I would say, is actually better than YouTube.
Interesting.
Yeah, but it is a newer platform, and so not
is.
as many people have picked up on it.
Yeah.
But if you haven't, I figured out a way how to stream it out to YouTube, so I'm actually blending the two.
Huh, cool. I think that's important to keep in mind is when you're building a community or subscribers or anything, is letting them know that this is a place where you can communicate with them, whether it's this platform or another platform other than YouTube. Is what is it that you're offering them on that platform that you like to do and that they want to return to? And I think that's important to keep in mind, whether it's a subscriber or viewer. Building that community is important. You know, I sometimes have not been a subscriber to a channel and I watched a video I liked that I end up commenting, or I find one of the things I do is I'll comment on someone else's comment, and that helps build community in a way too, because they're seeing, oh, this person's also engaging. What's their content? Are they making content? What is it they're having that they shared something really interesting? And that's another way I think we can build subscribers, is by engaging within our niche community, whatever your niche is. If you're watching the videos of other people who make your content, commenting in there and interacting there can also build the community you're trying to build on your channel, because you're connecting the channels because of the niche you're in.
Well, I would say if you're looking just for views, I would say go to TikTok and then migrate people back to your YouTube channel. If you're looking at building community, I'd say Twitter Spaces, get those people coming into your events all the time and then migrate them back to YouTube. YouTube is great for community, but there are better applications for building those foundations that you can funnel back to it at this point.
Yeah, I know
YouTube,
go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say YouTube definitely has the prestige that
Right.
we've all kind of been living with over the last, 15 years, I want to say. But I mean, there are other options too.
No, that's true. Migrating people from other places is always a good idea too, if you can. I find it really hard. I have a huger following on Instagram than I do on any of the other platforms I'm on. But I really can't I've found that not many people are coming over and staying and subscribing to YouTube. So I've started sort of not promoting my YouTube videos on other channels anymore, because it's not bringing them in to stay. Like, they'll view it, which is great, but the amount of people who are subscribed aren't viewing it as much. I did a thing where I looked at, like, okay, here's the source of where that person found out about my video. And then I looked at my subscriber versus non-subscriber, and it was still really low of my subscribers watching it as opposed to viewers from other places. And those viewers weren't becoming subscribers. But then when I focused on the community aspect, and one of the things within my niche, one of my niches, is a lot of people, there's a few people in my niche who do a lot of live videos. And if I talked in those videos, or I became someone who was in the live video, like a guest in the live video, and started just building community and talking about comic books within that community, I found I got subscribers. They weren't really immediately watching one of my videos and then subscribing. It's the fact that I was engaging with them in the chat, or I was a guest on the live, and me and that person were engaging each other and engaging people in the chat of that live, that then those people were like, wow, I really like what Joel's saying. I want to subscribe to his stuff and see what he's doing, which then made them start commenting on stuff when they did watch it, which started conversations on my videos, which then actually helped build my viewership within YouTube itself. Because, like, I looked at like where my views were coming from, and it switched from being like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook to now being browsing and recommendation, and then maybe an external because then more people were actually watching it. So that building of the community, I found, really did bring more people to come and stay and subscribe, because we were building that community like you're talking about. So I think that's really great. You found like another place to build community that would also then bring people into YouTube. That's really cool.
And I think too, for in defense of Eugene's point here, I think it probably matters an awful lot on your personality and where you like to engage. So if you're Instagramaholic, you're probably naturally going to be over there doing more community stuff than you would be if you're on Twitter, and vice versa. I hate Twitter, so that's probably why Twitter Spaces for me. I just cannot tolerate sitting in one of those rooms.
That's cool. And that's not for you. And that's cool. You can still
So exactly.
build
That's,
community
you know,
somewhere.
right.
That's the thing to keep in mind is where are you building your community at? And has that community interested in seeing what you're doing and working with you in another area?
But I think too, that can also be freeing to just the knowledge that you don't have to be on every platform doing all the things.
Right.
Just, you know, pick a couple.
Yeah. John, you had your hand up?
Well, I just wanted to add to a little something that Dan was talking about, where some people just can't get subscribers. And in my case, I've had a lot of difficulty with it. It used to hurt my feelings. It bothered me. I thought, wow, I have no personality, and which is partially true, but the subject matter doesn't lend itself well to subscribers. It was like, imagine you're looking, your refrigerator just blew up. You go on YouTube, you're looking for a refrigerator, you get some guy that says, this is a really good one, you go down, you buy it, you're never going to watch that guy again. Never. And it's the same with me. They may type in a model number of a particular safe that they're trying to track down, get me, I'll talk about the safe, I'll show them how it works, how it's made, I'll tell them everything they want to know, and they go, I'm going to go buy that safe. Well, if I'm lucky, they're going to buy it from me because I can ship it all over the country. If I'm not, they're going to go down to the local safe store and pick it up. But what they're probably not going to do is subscribe.
Yeah.
And consequently, when we're looking for influencers on some of the products that we bring in from China, we don't look for somebody with the high rates of subscribers. We look for a guy that's been getting some views. And then we watch him and see if his demeanor is kind of fitting with the kind of customer we might enjoy getting, and we'll send them a free pistol box or something, you know. And we've had very good luck with that. So, but it's just not. I think I've got 7,500 subscribers, but that's after 10 years of going, please subscribe. I finally gave up with that. You know,
I think that's good that you realize that your core viewer isn't someone who's looking for an ongoing video series about safes.
Right.
They're just so your viewers are the people who go on the search engine. So optimizing your videos for the search is great. But it's great that you've got 7,500 people who've decided to subscribe to you, and whether they're actually like coming back to watch the video or not. Okay.
So, and I'll tell you, I think I know who they are. It turns out there's 7,500 safe people in the United States, combined with locksmiths. So the locksmiths love to watch it, and I do get a lot of comments from them. So, but that's great. They're not going to buy a safe from them.
They're not, but they might have someone who does.
Yes.
If they're talking to someone just in general about safes, or they're helping someone unlock one safe and they're like, you know, there's a better safe than this. Have you looked at John's?
Yeah.
So John, it sounds like all your content is trying to educate one-off events in people's lives rather than trying to build an audience, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah. So it would be normal for you not to have this huge, by the way, 7,500 in that category is absolutely amazing. And I'm impressed. But if you were looking to actually build that subscriber base, I mean, there's a lot of really entertaining things that you can do with safes that I think would actually help bolster those numbers.
Well, I know of a couple of them. Like if I was to do a safe about how to break into a safe, I'd have 1 million people in a month. Only because a few competitors do that. I just don't think it's right selling them and then showing the bad guys how to get into them.
No. I would say like maybe you challenge a magician to break out of one in 30 minutes and see if they can do that. Or, you know, you do, hey, what's in the safe? I'm going to hire these 3 guys to use pickaxes for 24 hours to see if they can actually get into it.
I like that.
How safe is the safe?
Just make it like a really entertaining concept.
Yeah, a video series about how safe is this safe. That's even better. You know.
Well, yeah, but a lot of times that involves breaking into it again, and I try to avoid that stuff. But I like getting a high security safe, which most people don't buy, and then having people try to break into it with sledgehammers, jackhammers, and that kind of stuff. That could be fun.
I know a channel that I follow. It's just a channel that sells products like you're doing.
Yeah.
And they have every once in a while, they do a video where they have their staff try to destroy the product.
Mm-hmm.
And then while they're doing it, they're promoting the product and they're promoting other products that they have that they try to use to break the product, the main product of the video. So then people are like, oh my gosh, look at that product. That's really cool. I want that product. But they use these 3 other products. And what's this other stuff they have? And why haven't I bought that? Same idea.
A lot of my videos are the actual product videos, but then what I've noticed is they don't get a lot of play if I don't pick a product that's popular. But the how-to videos are just killing it. How to bolt a safe down. I can't believe how many people watch that video every day. There's a lot that's very popular, and it's very confusing to open. So I've been in the safe business for years, and I'm answering the same question 20 times a day, so I made a video. That's my number one video, but I can't really call it viral because nobody's watching it because it's great fun or somebody told them about it. They did a search because they couldn't get their darn safe open. And they get it open with my video 90% of the time. And if they don't, they probably have a different lock. So, I'm kind of understanding that to draw people to my channel, I need to do a few more how-tos. But I'm running out of how-to things. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that, views can be associated with the type of channel it is.
Yes.
My friend is doing an e-bike channel, and it's going wild, absolutely wild. And he hasn't been up a year yet, and he's already beaten me on the subscriptions, I think, or he's darn close.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that goes into another question that I have on my list of questions to ask is, what do you think is what you need to do to take your channel to a new place? What do you think you need to either fix or add or change that can help serve your channel better, whether it's bringing in more subscribers or not? Anyone have anything like that to share? Anyone want to be vulnerable? Anyone?
Make more videos. That's my issue. I need to make more videos without lowering the quality too much.
Cool.
That's my thing.
Cool.
It's been 3 years since I had my show, and my co-host from it. We live together, and so as of this last week, we finally relaunched a show together, just live streaming for 3 hours a week to talk about tech. So
cool.
Hopefully,
cool.
New journey.
Nice.
I think for me, one thing I'm particularly interested in right now to elevate my channel is to figure out more opportunities for storytelling in topics that might be dry. Like, how do I go about making that a little bit more interesting? Like with things like vlogs, there's a little bit more of a story kind of inherently baked in. But if I'm doing a tutorial or how can I make that more story filled,
Yeah, that's a good challenge to have, is what kind of thing that you can do to make it that's a story that you're telling, but it not coming across as just flat content that's not genuine. That's a cool idea. I know for me, sort of what John said is making content. I have at least 2 videos. I have one video that I've semi-edited. I have content for a second or 2 more videos just sitting in my downloads and saved on the computer that I need to spend the time to do. And I've let other things become distracting to actually sitting down to do it. For me, it's just sitting here doing this and like actually doing it. Anyone else feel like sharing what they want to change or what they want to do?
So I'll share. I recently enrolled in this course that's more like an academy that came with a bunch of different courses. And the first one I instantly went to is it's a niche finder course, because that's something I've always struggled with. And I think that's something I kind of want to, I've always hated that idea that people have to be super
targeted. They're a fitness channel specifically for accountants. They're a cook
That is
channel.
pretty niche. Wow.
But that's what I mean. Like, or you are a cooking channel for stay-home dads. Like it's something like that. And I've always struggled with that. So that's my big thing. I'm trying to figure, because I think that does make a stronger subscriber base, at least until you're big.
Yeah.
You scale up, but at the beginning, that's the thing I'm trying to figure out now.
Cool.
So Tony, I'm in VRA too. I haven't really
That's what it is. Yep.
looked at it. I can tell by the name of the product. I haven't looked at it or used it actually in quite a while. One thing I will say that I found really interesting in this idea of finding a niche is I also out of curiosity bought Matt Diavella's course on YouTube, and VRA is very much the old school train of thought. Matt Diavella is very much in the new school of thought. And he says some interesting things about finding a niche and how you shouldn't worry about finding a niche, that the niche will find you. Now, you generally don't want to, you don't just want to throw spaghetti at a wall and cover everything you possibly can think of. Like, you do want to have a point to your channel, but at the same time, the bigger you get, the more kind of fine-tuned, if you're paying attention to your audience, it will naturally happen. And his opinion is that people stress about it too much at the beginning.
That's a good point. I think for all of us to learn is knowing our niche is good, but you don't want to hyperfixate on your niche so much that you get lost in your content.
Right.
Doing it. And I think that's important, even when it comes to trying to make viewers into subscribers, is making sure that your niche is hitting the right group of people. I tried to do this thing that everyone started doing at the very beginning of the pandemic and the lockdown. Was I started going live because everyone else was doing it, so I might as well do it too. And I thought it would help build my channel. I'd get more subscribers, more people viewing the lives, more people viewing my videos. I did it for a year, and none of that happened. I had the opposite effect. I got people who weren't in my niche coming to my videos to watch them, and so the algorithm was like, wait, what are you making? Content are you making? We don't know what to do. We can't help you. And so it was like the algorithm didn't know what to do. And so like the live videos after they were done, weren't being pushed to my audience, because the people who were there at the live video, what they were watching wasn't really that. So then the algorithms were like, we're not promoting this. We don't know where it's going to go, even though I did the tags and the hashtags and everything. So that's one of the things to keep in mind is when you're doing the content you're going to make for your audience, is it hitting the right audience for the content? Like you were talking about earlier, is, do you just take the whole bowl of spaghetti and throw it against the wall and see which pasta sticks? That's one of the things I did at the very beginning. Is like, I was like, I'm just going to make a bunch of weird content and see what sticks. And then I was like, oh, wait, I go to comic book conventions a lot. I should maybe focus on the stuff I do at comic book conventions. And then that's where it landed. It took me to land, but it took me a while. I was doing vlogs. I was doing reaction videos. I was doing food videos. And it was just like, it was all over the place. I've taken those videos and like privated them, so they're not pushing the content the wrong way. But I think that's a good idea, Tony, is trying to figure out better your niche. And sometimes it does. Sometimes it's not just putting out the same content every day, every week, every month in a certain niche, but sometimes taking some time to do maybe a class. I think that's great. I've done a few classes myself where we talked about different kinds of subjects that helped me find what I wanted to do and do better at it. So I think that's a great idea to do that. And there's so many out there, so many different ones to help. So I think it's always a good idea to try that.
And I would almost say, because there was also the coach from, I forgot his name, but I spent 2 hours with the coach, and he and another coach, two coaches I talked with, they're both like, you know what? Don't think too much about your niche. Just who's it for? That's really it. Like you'll figure out the content eventually if you just figure out who's this for exactly.
That's what I did too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that sometimes takes spending money to have someone teach you or sit down with you, or just like what we're doing here, talking to each other about things and then realizing, oh, here's something they said that really stuck with me. I've written down a few things that we've talked about here that I really liked that I'm going to try working on. So, well, that's all the questions I had for us. We still have a few minutes left. Is there anything else about subscribers and viewership that you guys had questions about or thoughts on that you'd like to share with the group?
Let's hear from somebody that hasn't talked. Come on. I believe in you.
We've talked a lot about stuff, so if your brain's like jumbled, it's okay. But if there's something else you wanted to share about it, go ahead and speak.
I just want to say that like this has been really helpful. I only have like 100 subscribers, and that's been like 2 years on YouTube, so it's going kind of slow. But it's been really helpful because like I've been trying to read articles and stuff. Sorry, fell out. Articles and stuff, and like watching YouTube videos about how to get more views and how to get more subscribers. And like I think I've been focusing way too much on the search, and I think my videos are much more like the algorithm needs to show it to people. Because like as an example, like a recent video I made was about dinoflagellates, which I'm sure nobody knows what that is. And when I've done looking into like, do people even Google dinoflagellates? No one Googles that. But I know that if people saw this video, they'd be like, whoa, that's what a dinoflagellate is, and that's what it can do. Like, I feel like I would get more views and get more subscribers. Like I've been focusing way too hard on the search stuff, and it didn't really even occur to me that like the search stuff and the algorithm stuff are like kind of like two separate things. And like what John does is maybe more like suited for search stuff, while mine I need to suit it more for like algorithm stuff.
Well, the search is an algorithm.
Right.
So it's one of the algorithms. So I think I think that's great that you realize that, and maybe just make content. Like, sure, make that video about that big word I don't know how to say back but someone out there someday in the world may be like, I need to know more about that, and they'll type it in. And if you are the only one with a video on it, it's going to be at the top.
Right. I guess more what I was saying was that like it made me realize that like there's like, so yeah, I'm in like the educational content side of YouTube, right? Like 99% of the really interesting educational YouTube videos I've seen, I didn't search. Like it's just
It's
like
recommended to you.
Yeah, like I need to be more focusing, I guess, on like the recommendation algorithm than just trying to find the right keywords that maybe someone will punch in by some strange chance. So yeah.
Veritasium did a video where he talked about how clickbait is unreasonably effective.
I've seen that video.
Okay, so
there's a few of those.
what
There's
you're
a few
talking
stuff about
So
that.
he has some phenomenally nerdy videos that no one searches for. But if you can craft enough interest via your title and thumbnail, people click on it and they're like, this is actually really interesting. I'm going to stick around and watch this, you know?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out right now. But I think I need to do like more, besides this one Veritasium video, I need to do some more reading and research into it. But this did kind of click in my head, sort of made me like, oh, maybe I need to stop focusing so much on tags, maybe on other stuff.
I'd like to mention, I don't really know what that word means, but if it fixes or repairs or cures something, you might get a catchy title like, finally, something that cures blank, because they have that issue. So maybe you can direct them back to what it is you're talking about, because I have no idea what that word is.
I get where you're coming from, not quite. Like that is helpful though, because like, so just to be a nerd for a second, dinoflagellates are a type of phytoplankton. And I don't know if anyone's ever seen footage of like oceans that glow, like the waters glow blue. That's dinoflagellates.
Taylor.
Yeah. So you've seen it, right?
You would immediately capture the attention of so many photographers if you just use the word bioluminescence.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even if that's a tag.
That's what we call it. When we're like, I'm going to head down to the Oregon coast this weekend and try to capture some bioluminescence. That's what we're talking about. Like,
yeah. So like, I've actually intentionally, this is good stuff. I've intentionally like kind of left that word out of my description, my title, and my tags, because I don't want it to like spoil the video, because it's like the video sort of presented like, what's so amazing about these weird creatures? And then I talk about some other stuff, and like, but the big amazing thing is that they're bioluminescent. So maybe I actually need to switch that up
and that's something to think about is how much, like, there's that idea of like, you don't want to give things away. You want people to be lured in, but picking a word that's still attractive, but then you can still talk about it by saying maybe just what makes things bioluminescent, and then you can talk about that actual thing that makes it bioluminescent, and then people will be more interested in it.
Yeah.
The things you didn't know about bioluminescence or whatever, if you just flip it on its head, you can still have it be mysterious.
Yeah.
But you're leading with something different,
Yeah, okay. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm gonna write some notes. Thanks, y'all.
You're welcome. Yeah, that's what this is about, is being able to help each other out. And that's the whole point of having the Facebook group. So if you haven't joined the Facebook group, please do that, because that's a place where you can plop a statement. Like, I know Tony was just talking about niche, and I remember Tony asked that same question in the Facebook group, and he and I had a little bit of conversation about that. And that's a great place to keep bringing this kind of stuff up, is if you can't make it to the meetups, just in the Facebook group, write a question saying, hey, I'm doing blank. Can you guys give me some feedback? Or I've done this a few times, and I've known other people that have done this. They've asked questions about thumbnails. I'll say, hey, here's 2 thumbnails I'm debating on which one to use. What do you guys think would catch people's eye? So those are the kind of things to always bring up in the group. I already put it in the Facebook chat. If you didn't see it, the group, there's a link to the group in there, so you can join us there if you want. But does anyone else have any other questions or thoughts or comments about viewership or subscribership they wanted to talk about?
I'd like to ask what everybody is doing to innovate to bring those things into their channels. Are you guys doing anything unique that you probably haven't seen other channels do?
It's a good question.
Not to brag, but I seem to be the only person who like makes interesting videos about like marine biology, because whenever I Google, like whenever I type this stuff in, it's either like horrendously terrible clickbait nonsense that's just like what's actually at the bottom of the Marianas Trench, and then you click on it and it's like nothing. It's like, but it's like 10 minutes of like,
oh no,
of like hype, right? It's a whole attempt, and then yeah, anyway, so I can rant about those videos forever. Or it's just like really boring, dry, like PowerPoint presentations. So like
so you're somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I try to. I think I'm funny, and I think I have personality, and I think I present this stuff in a way that's accessible for like even people who don't know anything about dinoflagellates, for example. Cool. So like, yeah,
Would you put yourself sometimes in the same category as a lot of those like scuba diving videos with like voiceover over them?
No, I wish I could, but I don't have the tech or the money, or really like the environment. Like Seattle doesn't have a lot of the animals that I talk about on my channel. Oh. It's mostly just I don't know if anyone here knows like CGP Gray, or like, nope, getting a bunch of blank faces. Or like, I mean, kind of like Veritasium, except I don't have the money to travel like he does, but like, just straight up educational, here's something interesting kind of videos.
Cool. I know for me, I'm thinking about and getting to buy a different software to use to edit my videos, one that can actually add more graphics, because one of the kinds of videos I make are cosplay videos, and a lot of the other people that make cosplay videos, they're using software that allows them to add graphics and effects to what the character's doing. So I'm looking at deciding which, I'm probably going to go with Final Cut Pro, but trying to figure out what effects I can add. No, you don't like
After Effects. Come on.
I know.
I was just thinking, like, you are in Eugene's wheelhouse. Maybe we just all hire Eugene to make our stuff.
But I'm trying to figure out which one of those I want to go with, so I can add some more effects to what I do.
Get After Effects. That way I can like field your questions when you run into it, because I know you used to watch the videos I was making at Comic Shop TV for when I was there for 4 years.
That's true. You're right. All right. Anyone else have anything they want to share on Eugene's question? Eugene, say your question again, just so we've forgotten what it was.
Given the topic is about trying to bring in new subscribers and views, what are you personally innovating that you haven't seen on other channels to help you do that?
I think for me, and this actually ties into something Eugene was saying earlier about kind of like, what are you willing to do that other people aren't? Something I've been noticing, it's kind of a blue ocean kind of opportunity. And it's hard for me because I don't only want to make complicated, nerdy videos. I really don't. However, there seems to be in kind of my niche, this people who will either overly simplify things because they don't want to get in the weeds and they kind of assume that people aren't interested. Or there's a whole other group of people that will, put together a 2-hour video that's so over the top you can't even kind of remember anything that happened. And so I'm trying to bridge popular topics to give enough nerdy detail while also not putting people to sleep, So it's useful. But so I guess that's one thing I'm trying to, it doesn't seem like a lot of people are willing to put in the effort to try to make a complicated topic accurate, yet also simple. So that's one thing I'm trying.
Cool. Does anyone else have an answer they want to share?
My answer is that I don't got an answer, and that's something else I want to work on. I mean, in the gaming and anime space, I do notice a lot, like I at least feel most of us aren't on camera for some reason. I'm always on camera. So I don't know. That's probably it, but that's not enough. In my opinion.
I follow a few anime channels, and usually it's just content and their voice going. There's not too many. I know of one, but yet they haven't made content in 2 years. I don't even know if they still exist as humans.
Maybe they got hit by a truck and they,
dark.
went to another world.
they're in another meta space.
That was good.
Thanks.
I got that. That was good.
I'm surprised though, Tony, you're not at SakuraCon right now as being someone who's into anime, but that's just the side note.
Fred tells me that all the time, and I just haven't done it yet. So
that's okay.
It's okay. You're not missing anything.
You're not. I that's why I'm here. Anyway, that I think is it when it comes to the topic. So let's go ahead and do this. I will end our video on YouTube for the meetup. So if you're out there and watching this later in the world in the time frame, and you would be interested in joining us, in the group description below this video, you'll find more information about the Seattle YouTube group and how to join it on Facebook. And we are here every third Saturday of the month, talking about different topics. My brain is blanking on what the next week's topic is, or next month's topic, but we will be here next month, third Saturday of the month at 3 o'clock. Check the Facebook group, or on Meetup, we'll have the link to the next group. So that's the end of our YouTube video.